Hello everyone, this is Debabrata once again, and today I'm planning to take a class on exceptional handling. So what is exceptional handling? So we have a small or minor difference between error and exception. Okay, so what is those errors? Let us just check. So today, on addition to these exceptional cases, we will also going to cover few topics like try, catch, final throw, and throws. So we are going to cover those as well. So as a prerequisite, nothing much, just the normal sense of programming will be enough to start with this topic. So that's all for the time being. So today we are going to discuss 5 to 6 topics. So first topic, why exceptional handling and what is the exact difference between exception and errors? And cannot we handle everything by if else? So what I'm trying to mean, let's take one example. So the example is something like this. Suppose we have an array size 5, like the elements 0, 10, 30, 50, 70. Now user will enter 2 positions and you need to divide the numbers from those positions. As an example, suppose user has entered 3 and 1. So in the position 3, we have 50. In the position 1, we have 10 because array starts from 0. Okay, array starts from 0. In the first position, we have 0 itself. In the position 1, we have 10. In position 2, we have 30. In position 3, we have 50. In position 4, we have 70. So if user enters 3 and 1, that means we have to divide the numbers at position 3 and at number at position 1. So the numbers are 50 and 10 accordingly. So if you divide 50 with 10, the answer will be 5. So that is a simple task that we need to solve. So if I go to any of the online compiler or anywhere, and if I start typing the program, suppose enter first position, say, and after that, suppose if I take it like in one, say the first position, and sc dot next int, and after that, suppose let me enter the second position as well. Enter the second position and let it be inside n2, say. So we are going to take 2 position input. First one is n1 and second one is in n2. And now if I'm going to divide the values of those from those positions, suppose int answer equals to, okay, let me take one array. I'm not going to take the input of the array. So it will be a static input kind of. So let me take an array, something like int. Let me take the array as suppose, sorry, let me take an array like 0, 10. What are those values? Let me check. 0, 10, 30, 50, and 70. Okay. It is a very easy task we have to solve. So what we are going to do, we are just going to divide the value at n1 position with the value at n2 position. Very simple. So at the end, I'm going to print system.out.println. The answer is answer. And if you want, you can print at the end, thank you for using our program or something like that, or thank you only. Simply. And it is a very simple task. So if I run that program and if I enter 3 and 1, so third position, it is array always starts from 0. So it is position 0, it is position 1, it is position 2, it is position 3. So position 3 means 50 with position 1, that is 10. So the answer will be something 50 by 10 equals to 5. So yes, you can see the answer is coming as 5. So this is a very simple program. So what is the difference between error and exception that we need to know. Error might be different type of error we can face. Like the syntax error we can face. Syntax error means suppose if you do not give semicolon, if I try to run, it will give the error. So that will be called as a syntax error. Always it will give the error. Always. So error means it will come always. What other type of errors we can face? We can face logical error. Logical error means in the question, it was being asked to divide the numbers. Now, if someone has done some mistake and doing the sum, so that is always going to give us the sum. So error always gives the errors actually. The situation, if some situation is created, so in case of error, we will always get those things. But exceptions is something we will get the error sometimes, not always. What is the example? Let me show you. So if I go to the program and if I go to the original program, so this program is running good. Let me show you once again. It is a very simple program, but still, if I give 3 and 1, it is giving me 5 as an answer. So it is running good. But it will fail when I will give something like position 3 and position 0. So it will say Java arithmetic exception divided by 0. Because as per the mathematics, a number cannot be divided by 0. So whenever I'm giving the position as 0, it is trying to fetch the value from that position. So the value of this position is again 0. So whenever I'm trying to divide 50 with 0, it is giving the error. As per the mathematics, you cannot divide anything by 0. So you can see only for few examples, only for few inputs, it is giving the error. It is not something like it is giving the error, not always. So this type of things are being called as exception. Or in normal English word as well, we use this term like exceptional situations. So your code is running for some inputs. That doesn't mean your code will run for all the inputs. And in the industry, there is a dedicated team called testing team who always going to check your program with multiple inputs to check that your program is running in all the situations or not. Sorry. So this is some situation. This is some exceptional situation, I want to say, where our code is failing. But in general, the code was successful. But in this situation, what you suggest? Obviously, you can suggest something like that. Like when, if, ARR into, if it is 0, then I'm going to print something like system.out.println cannot divide by 0, something like that. We have already handled this kind of situation in our if-else programming in our chapter 2. We have done that at the very starting. It was the second class, what I can remember. So we can handle that easily by this if-else code. It is fine. We can put everything in else block. If it is 0, then simply I'm going to print cannot divide by 0. Otherwise, I'm going to divide those two numbers and print the answer. So if I run now, and if I give 3 and 0, obviously it is handled. It is not going to give any more errors. But is this is our code going to run everywhere now? No. If I run that once again, suppose if I have given a position like 10 or a position like 100 position. So 100 position is not there in our array. Our array is just a length with length 5. We do not have a position called 100 here. So if I enter, that is going to give another error. So if I give any position number 2 and look, it is saying array index out of bound exception. So again, it is going to give some error. Or this special inputs, if you give any input outside of the array length. Now, we can also handle this kind of situations. We have to write something like if n1 is greater than equals to error dot length and or if even n2 given by the user, so even that is greater than equals to array dot length, we are going to print something like a error happened or something like that, invalid positions or anything, or I can write error happened. So that we can handle. So else if it is going to check if the value is zero or not. If it is not zero, then it is going to print the answer. So now if I run that program once again, and if I give some value like if I give some position like 100 and some position like 2, it is going to say error happened, because we do not have as such position like 100 in our array. If I give some good values like 3, position 3 and position 0, so in 0 position we have a value 0, so it will show something like cannot divide by 0. Now if I give the good values like 3 position and 1 position, so it is going to give me the answer. It is very much important to handle this situation, because if you take an example like in our Android phone or in our iOS phone, in our iPhone, we never can see any error messages, any technical messages like array index out of bound or cannot divide by 0, arithmetic exception. We never can see any technical messages. If anything goes wrong, it just hanged out or it is restarted somehow. Even in some website, I have seen some nice messages like they are saying in case of any server is down or any website is down, they put a message like, okay, we are in a coffee break, so please come back after few minutes. So they show a nice message. So why we cannot uh, sh show the same type of messages in our case? So it is always important to hide your technical error messages. It is not good to show your codes to the user, because generally these type of codes will be hidden behind some button or hidden behind some application. So user shouldn't know. User will just give some input, will get some output, that's all. This type of codes will be hidden behind some user interface. So user can only see this black screen. They can enter something, they can get some output. They even do not know on what language you are writing your program. Is it Java? Is it Python? They will never come to know those kind of information. For example, have you ever seen any single Android code in your phone? Have you ever seen any technical messages from the Android? Ever? Like, okay, my phone is running on an array. You are saving all those phone numbers in an array, or you are using some matrix. You have never seen that. If anything goes wrong, it is just restarted. That's all. Or it got hanged, but it never shows any message. So we are trying to achieve the same thing here by multiple if and else statement. But now, if our code is error proof, no. Because if I run the code once again, and this time instead of some valid position, if I write something like hello, it is going to give again some technical error messages. So here, if you want, you can handle all the error exceptional situations by writing if and else statement. Or if you want, you can simply ignore all of them and you can put your code inside a try and catch block. Let me show you what I'm trying to mean. You can put all of your code inside try and catch block. So that is something new. And if anything happens, anything wrong happens, it might be some division with 0. It might be someone is entering some invalid position. It might be someone is inserting some hi or hello instead of some position. So, or in all those situations, you can go to, if in case of any error in these codes, in these lines, if in these codes, if anything wrong happens, the control will go to the catch statement. And we can get the error messages here. We can get the exceptional values here. And if you want, you can print something like, okay, some error happened. You are hiding this technical messages, technical error messages. You are providing some of your custom messages, like some error happened. Sorry for that. You can write some custom messages. Please come back after few minutes. After a few minutes, you can write your own custom messages instead of showing this technical messages. So these are so much technical. You do not need to show these kind of messages to your user. So now, if user gives again some nonsense values, like if user enters high instead of a valid position, it will not show that technical message. It will just show some error happened. Sorry for that. Please come back after a few minutes. So instead of writing some if and else statement, it is good to put your code inside a try and catch block. If anything happens, you cannot guess everything like, okay, this will be our situation. It might be anything in real time. It might be any exceptional situation. You do not need to write all the if else statements one by one to handle those situations. It might be you are missing some cases as well. If you are missing some cases, still user will not be able to see the technical error messages. They are going to see something like this in all the cases. Let me show you what will happen. Suppose if user gives position 100 and position 200, both are not feasible in this scenario because our array is with size 5. So 100 and 200 positions are not feasible. If I enter, it will show the same thing. Some error happened. Sorry for that. Please come back after a few minutes. If anyone tries to divide it with 0, suppose position 3 and position 0. So the value at position 0 is 0 itself. So we are trying to divide it by 0. Same it is showing. The same error message it is showing. Even if you do something extra or some other mistakes, then also it is going to show the same message. You do not need to handle them one by one using if and else statement. And that is, I'm trying to make you understand. So this is the purpose of exceptional handling. And first time we are writing our code inside try block. If anything goes wrong, the control will go to the catch block. You can see. So if I put this thank you option, thank you message at the very last line, and if anything goes wrong, this thank you message will not be printed. So if I write hello here instead of a position, so in this line, the error happened. So rest of the lines will not going to execute. So control will directly go into this catch statement. Okay. So if anything goes wrong in these statements, any statements, not here, suppose if I give a valid position on N1, suppose 5 is a valid position. No, 5 is not valid position, sorry. If I run, suppose if I give some valid position like 3, and in the second position, if I'm writing high, so if any error happens in this line, directly the control will goes to this catch statement. It is not going to execute these 3 lines. As an example, if I enter, you can never see the thank you will be printed here. If you put thank you after the catch block here, then it is going to print. But if you put the thank you inside the try statement, it will never be executed if any error happened in the earlier lines, because the control immediately goes into the catch block. The last 3 lines are not going to execute. So that is the rule. If you want to print the error message is what type of error happened. If you somehow, if you want to print, then you are receiving the error inside this E variable. You can change the name. You can change the name to ERR or something. So if you want, you can print this variable E as well. So let me show you. If I place it like plus E, so you are going to see a short version of this error message. Suppose if I enter high and if I enter, so it is some error happened. Sorry for that. Please come back after a few minutes and it is going to print the error happened. So it is something input mismatch exception, because Java is expecting integer to be input, but you are entering high. So it is a string input. So some mismatch is happening, and this type of exceptions or error are being called as input mismatch exception. So that is happening. If you want, you can print this variable here as well. So that is the thing. So now, so this is the concept of try and catch block. So now if I go to the topic 2. So topic 2 is one try with multiple catch. Suppose it is a situation, different issues, and you are asked to print different error messages. Like for the wrong position, if anyone is giving 100, you need to print invalid position. For the wrong input format, you are being asked to print incorrect input. And for divide by 0 issue, you are asked to print cannot divide by 0 message. So in those cases, this error message is pretty much general. In all the cases, we are printing the same line. Some error happened, some error happened. But if you want, you can change this message. Like you can write, in case of any arithmetic exception. So you can see those exceptions. Okay, suppose if I take this one first, input mismatch exception. Whatever exception you are getting, you can write those. Okay, sorry, I'm probably, okay, let me type that. Input mismatch exception. So in case of this type of exception, what I need to print? Incorrect input. Okay, so I can write something here. Incorrect input. Now you can add the rest of the exceptions, like another one is array index out of bound exception, probably array index out of bounds exception. It is a pretty long name. So here you can write invalid position. The last one, suppose if anyone is trying to divide it by 0, so you can write arithmetic exception. And you can write cannot divide by 0. You can write cannot divide by 0. So now, if you run this program, and if anyone gives the wrong position, like 100, and second position is good, so you can get a custom message like invalid position. So the control is going inside this. Control is not going inside this and this. Okay. So we are creating catch statements irrespective to the corresponding error messages. So now if I give hi or hello, instead of a number value, instead of a valid position, if I give some hi, so it is going to print incorrect input. So that is this one. Okay, sorry. The last one is invalid position. Sorry. In the last case, it goes inside the array index out of bound exception. But here, it is going inside input mismatch exception and it is showing incorrect input. Let me run again and give the wrong position first. I explained it wrongly. So if I give 100 and suppose 2, so it is showing invalid position. That means it is entering into this catch block. Now, the last one, suppose if I enter position 3 and position 0, position 3 and position 0, it is going to show cannot divide by 0, because in position 0, we have the value 0 itself. So it is going inside this. Now, if anyone can think like, what will happen if I give two wrong values? Means like I'm giving 100 position and position 0. So which will be executed? So whatever the error will occur first. So if I run this, you can see invalid position is being printed. Why? Because first it will try to fetch error 100. First it will try to fetch error 100 and error 0. If you are getting the error at that part, immediately the catch statement will be executed and it will print invalid position. If these two steps are successful, if we are able to get error 100 and error 0, then we are going to divide that, right? So first we have to fetch the value, then we have to divide. At the time of fetching the value, we are getting the error. So immediately the control is coming into array index out of bound exception. And that is the reason you are getting invalid position, not this message. Whenever any error happens, the control immediately goes to the catch statement. So that is the thing. Now, if you are doubtful what else can happen, what other type of error can happen in this simple program, if you cannot think about that, just simply write exception E. If you do not know what else can happen, I can guess like, okay, anyone can give high instead of a position. Anyone can give wrong position. Anyone can try to divide it by 0. So those are the situation I can think, but I really cannot think what other type of error user can input here so that the program will fail. I really cannot imagine. So for safety purpose, I'm writing exception. So exception is a parent field or the parent object. So if we are missing anything here, then everything is being covered by exception. So here I can write that general message, some error happened. I don't know. If anything, I cannot predict. So if anything happens as that, so the control will go inside this exception and it will going to print some error happened. Okay. So if I place this exception E at the starting, then it will give me a message like it is going to say, my machine is really taking time, or I don't know it is server or not. So it is saying exception input mismatch exception has already been caught. Array index out of bound exception has already been caught. Means if you place the parent object at the starting, there is no use to write all these custom exceptions after that, because everything is going to come inside this. It might be input mismatch exception, it might be array index out of bound exception, it might be arithmetic exception. All of them are a part of exception. So this is the parent field. So if you write that at the starting, so it is going to show these kind of messages. Obviously, everything will go inside this exception. So it is better, it is always suggested by the Java. If you are missing, if you are not able to think the probable exceptions, write the parent exception object at the end. So if anything missed out here, then rest of everything will come inside this exception. So that's why you have to write exception as a last line of your program or last line of your catch statements. So now here another short question comes, like how many catch a try can have? One try can be there with multiple catch statements. You can see here we have written 4 catch statements. So one try can appear with multiple catch statements. That is the first thing. Simultaneously, the statement is also true if I say one try, with one try, only one catch is executable. Again, I'm repeating. One try can be there with multiple catch statements. But one try will be with one executable catch. It never can happen like two catch statements are running together. Means you can see incorrect input as well as you can see invalid position. It never can happen. Only one catch can execute with try. But there might be multiple catches. Multiple catch statement can be there, but only one catch will be executable. So those two statements are very important. If you have any multiple choice example, so you have to be careful on the words. Okay, so one try can be there with multiple catches, but only one catch will be executable with one try. Okay, so those are the things I want to say. If I go to the topic 3 is saying nested try catch. So suppose if I include another requirement like nth character of a given string. Suppose let me introduce one a string statement. Suppose let me write in string. Suppose let me write my name Guha. And after dividing all this and everything has been done, after printing the answer, if I write system.out.println, if I write the character is, suppose let me take this in1, whatever will be written in in1, I will try to find that character. Suppose I can write str.caret in. If anyone enters 3, that means the third character will be printed like 0, 1, 2, and 3. Means A will be printed. So that I'm expecting here. So if I run something I'm writing wrong. Okay, it is string. Sorry, I have written integer. So if I run it once again, okay, enter first position. Suppose I'm giving 3 and as usual 1. So the answer will be 5. And one extra line I will be getting, that is the character is A. Obviously the character at 3 position, because I'm trying to fetch the character at n1 position. So it is going to be A, obviously. Because string also starts from 0. So it is the 0th character, it is the 1 character, it is 2, and it is 3. So now, if anyone inputs, suppose 4 and 1, suppose 4 means 70, 1 means 10. So 70 by 10 answer will be 7. But here, there is no such character at 4th position in this string. In this string, we have only 0, 1, 2, 3 character up to 3 position. So there is no such position as 4. So the first answer will be correct, but the second answer will be wrong. If I enter, you can see the answer is 7, but here it is written some error happened. So it is written some error happened due to this one, due to this catch exception, because the error doesn't belong to any of these messages. If you want for a safety, you can introduce everything. Okay, first you can, this is the normal way, putting everything together. This is the normal way that we are following. So the first approach is writing everything in the same try. So that is the first option. Second option, splitting it into different try catch. So that is the second option. Like, obviously here we are doing two different things. So we can introduce two different try catch. So for the first option, so let me introduce a try here. And let me introduce another try for this line. Suppose I can introduce another try catch statement in this line. So this is the common. This is the different algorithm, different requirement. So the first thing, this part is same. This array, string, everything is same. These positions we are entering, that is also same because N1 is being used here. N1 is being used here as well. So I put them in common. Here, I put them in common. After that, we are starting one try statement and we are writing all those divisions and everything here. Okay, let me put out thank you from here to the last line. Obviously, thank you is not a part of array or not a part of string as well. And here I can write something like catch. I guess this exception is being called as string index out of bounds exception, probably. Yeah, this is the exception name. And here I can write something. You are trying to access a place beyond of the world. Something as per my wish, I can choose my exceptions messages. So we have two different try catch now here. You can see. So one try catch statement for this array division and one different try catch statement for this string manipulation thing. So now if I enter the same thing now, like if I give 4 and suppose 1, so the first one, the answer will come as 7. And the second one, the answer will come as you are trying to access a place beyond of the world. So the error message is here. And if I give something like 100 and 1, so both will fail. Both the statement will fail. So for the first one, it will show invalid position. And the second one, it is showing you are trying to access a place beyond of the world. But if we put everything inside the try statement, obviously you are not going to get this one. Because first error happened in this place and you will always get this output, invalid position. If you put, if we go with the first approach, the approach 1, if we go with the first approach 1, we never get this second error messages. You can try again with your code. Obviously, everything will be clubbed inside one code. So obviously, before getting the error in this line, you are getting the error in this line. So obviously, always you are going to print. You are always going to get the output like invalid position. You are never going to get the message like this. You are trying to access a place beyond of the world. You are never going to get this type of messages. You will only get this type of messages if you split your code into different try catch blocks. Now, another thing might happen here. Suppose now, if I enter something wrong as a position, suppose if I give high, then again you are seeing these technical messages because this N1 is not under any of the try block now. It is independent. It is not protected with the try block. So you are seeing these technical messages once again. So we need to do something. So it is suggested, okay, if you put all of your codes inside some try catch, it is okay. But overall, try to put a try. Overall, it is good if you use some try block. Overall. Obviously, if you it is good if you have some individual try catch block, but it is also good if you put something overall. So all these statements are made for those array manipulations. All these statements are for those string manipulations, but everything, including this thank you line, everything will be kept inside a parent try block. You can see inside a parent try block, I am going to put everything. So if anything happens which we didn't calculate, so those things will come under this exception. Okay, let me write E1 to differentiate with those E messages. So here I can write system.out.println something. I can write something happened. Try again. So if something goes beyond of your calculation, beyond of your prediction, so for a safety purpose, I put everything inside a parent try block. So this is the way you can create a nested try catch statement. And we can say like, okay, the approach has try catch inside a try. Inside a try statement, inside this parent try statement, we are putting all the try, all the catch statements. So if anything is missed out by chance, that will go inside this catch. This is the parent catch. Okay, so we put for a safety, we put everything inside this big try block. Now, if you think like, okay, got it. If N1 is wrong, suppose, let me think some situation. Suppose you are thinking like, okay, if N1 and N2 is good, suppose if N1 and N2 is good, or suppose if this N1 is out of range, then you want to try to check the position of N2 here. Here, whenever the first position is out of range, you want to try to check the second position. So you can write a statement inside the catch. You are trying to check if the second position is in the range or not. Suppose if the second position is in the range, you are trying to print that. Okay, let me stop it. Okay, now if I run, suppose I'm giving 100 as the first position. Okay, something I'm doing wrong. Okay, some semicolon I am missing. Okay, here it is. Yeah. So now let me run again. If I'm giving 100 as the first position, obviously first position is beyond of the imagination, beyond of the array length, beyond of the string length even. And the second position I'm giving 2. So obviously it is showing invalid position. But the second one in the string, it is showing age, because 100 is beyond of the length, but 2 is inside the length. You can see 0. If I check 0 position, 1 position, and this is our 2 position. That's why age is being printed. We are not losing the hope. If N1 position is beyond of the length, I'm trying to print N2 inside the catch statement. But what will happen if N2 is even beyond of the string length? Suppose the first position is 100 and the second position is 50. Array, obviously, it is going to give some error. It is going to give the message like invalid position. I'm not going into the array part. But for the string, it is showing something happened, this message. So here, if you want, you can put another try. If you do not want, the control goes outside. If you want, you can give another try. Like, okay, if the first one is failed, you can going to check another time. So suppose exception E3 or something. And here you can write this one. So if what is the direction now happening? If first we are checking the N1. If something goes wrong, it is going inside the catch statement. Then again inside the catch, we are giving another try to check the second position if it is coming under the length. If it fails as well, then it is going to the catch statement, the final catch. Yeah, for safety, we have a global catch. If anything fails, it will go inside this. If anything we fail to catch, so that's why last time it is showing something happened, try again, because it is coming under this catch block. But if we can guess, at least we can write this one here. So we can write a try catch statement inside another catch statement, and that is very much feasible. You can see it is feasible. So now if I enter 150 once again, it is going to check first if the string is having 100th character. No, it is coming under the catch statement. It is going to check if the string is having 50 character. It is saying no. Then it is coming into this line. You are trying to access a place beyond of the word. Let me enter and you can see this message. You are trying to access a place beyond of the word. It is not going the safety catch outside. That is the global one. It is just entering into this catch. So if you want, you can write a try catch statement inside the catch block is as well. So here we are writing this try catch statement inside the catch block. Okay, so I will try to copy this code inside the detail section of this video so that you can copy and paste this code, because it is very tough to frame this type of coding, to write all these statements correctly. Obviously, this is the first time you are doing, so you might face some issues. That's why I will try to put this code inside the detail section of this class. So now if I go to the topic 4, and that is finally. So let me make it small. Let me delete all the unnecessary lines. Suppose let me make it easier. Let me delete all those string lines. Let me delete all those parent try catch block. Let me make it very simple way. Just the array thing. Yeah. So now it is ready. So now suppose if I, after all those things, if I want to log out, suppose all the examples, all the transactions, all the mathematics, suppose at the end, I want to log out. Whatever I have done, I want to log out successfully. If it is successful or if it is fail, anyhow, I want to click on log out. At the end, it should be log out. So how to achieve that? Means, I'm trying to mean, let me put everything inside this try block. Let me put everything inside this try block. Yeah, here it is. Now, at the end, every time I want to log out. So, the code might be successful or might be failed, but I always want to log out. So, if it is successful, everything will be work here. So, I can write something here as the last line, like system.out.println. Suppose log out, I'm not mentioning any activity here, just I will be printing like log out. If it's successful, suppose you are in an ATM, and if your transaction is successful or if it is failure, all time in all the situations you want to log out, even if the machine breaks or if there is any technical glitch or in any kind of situation, first you have to log out automatically. Okay, if you do that by yourself, this is fine. If something goes wrong and automatically it needs to be logged out, then also final step will be log out. So here, if I do anything wrong, if anything goes here wrong, so obviously the statement will not reach out to this part. So it will go to the catch statements. So here it is better to write your finally statement always at the end. So you can write finally. In all situations, it has to be log out. So I'm just printing here as a logout, just for safety. If you run and give the good values like 3 and 1. So obviously the answer is 5 and it is logged out. So it is successful with catch statement. If anything goes wrong, it is for the safety purpose. If anything goes wrong, like someone has given 100 and 1. 100 is not a valid position. So in those cases, it will print invalid position. It is going inside the catch statement, you can see. But this log out will surely be executed at the end. It will surely be executed. So these are the things. Even if I show you the situation after a successful try block or after a failed try block, means it might happen we do not have any catch block. Just for the safety reason, it might happen when your program is running, some technical thing happened, some technical glitch happened, and your machine, your laptop got hanged or your laptop got stuck in this position. Suppose it might happen anytime. So before blocking it out, before the program got stuck, first it will give the priority to the finally statement. It will quickly go into the finally statement, execute this logout part, and then it will be stopped. So now, without the catch block, you can also use the finally statement. Let me show you. Suppose if I give the good things like 3 and 1, so it will show the answer is 5 and logout. Even if something goes wrong, like if I write, suppose position 100, that is not a correct position, and 1, we do not have any catch block. So before showing these technical messages, it will show the logout. Okay, even if I run and if I input something called high, so it will show these error messages, but before that, it will log out. So it will show in all the positions after a successful try block without catch, after a failed try block without catch. Even it will work like after a successful try catch block. We have already seen that. Even after a failed try catch block, it will also work on that situation. We have already checked that. These 4 situations. Now, some people might be thinking, what will happen if we do not use finally? Then also it will work. Yeah, you are partially correct. Like if I give, suppose, okay, let me remove this try catch and everything. And now you are correct. If I give log out at the end, it will run, but not always. If I give 3 and 1 for a successful execution, the answer is 5 and log out. But if I give something wrong, like if I give hi or hello instead of a position, here it will never reach out to this logout part. It will directly throw the error. You can see. So to confirm this logout statement to be executed each and every time, better to use your finally statement. So that is the thing. Even you can use in a return statement as well. Like suppose if you want to put everything in a function, suppose if I give everything inside a function, public static support void myth, and if I want to place everything we are doing here inside a function, just copying and pasting, that's all. And we are just calling it this myth from here. Now if I say return, so I am telling to return to the main function. But before returning, it will never forget to log out, to click on this finally statement, even before return. So it will say to the computer like, okay, please stop, do not return anything. First, let me execute this finally statement. Whatever is written in this finally statement, it might be a print statement, it might be some work, it might be some complicated code, whatever it is. It will not return the control to the main function. It will say like, stop here. First, let me print the finally statements. Let me go to the finally block and let me check what is written there. So then I will return. So here, first it will print, it will log out, it will not forget to log out, and then the control will come to the main function. So even if you return whatever you do, first this finally block will work. First this finally block will work. Then the machine got stuck, the machine might return, Anything might happen, but this finally block will always be executed. So in your program, you might have a situation like this. You can have a try with multiple catch and one finally. So this is the structure. Even the structure might be one try and one finally, like here. You cannot have any catch as well. Either there might be a catch, there might not be any catch statement, but if you put any finally, so after all these statements will be executed successfully or with failure, whatever it is, finally statement will run always. There might be some catch statement, there might not be some catch statement. Always it will work. If you put something in finally, that will surely be executed. And that is our topic 4. And quickly, last 2 topics. Suppose we check the topic 5 as throw. So what is throw? Let me explain that now.
Recording in progress.
So here we have, in this example, we have done many things to create some errors or exceptional situations. We have done many things. We have created one array. We have input something. We have tried to divide that. We have created all those examples just to create few errors. If you do not like to do all those things, and if you simply want to create an error, so the easiest thing is just to write. Suppose you want to create one array index out of bound exception. Suppose you do not need to create an array, you do not need to input something, you do not need to do all those complicated lines, you do not need to write all those things. It will be enough if you write this line, throw new array index out of bound exception. That's all. You can give any message like hi or hello or anything. You can write something like test. So if you write that line, it will be enough to create that error. If I run, obviously it will throw some error. Let me check. Yeah, it is creating the error. Obviously it will create the error because I am writing this line to create an error. And that is why it is giving the error. Obvious reason. So now a question might come in your mind like, why should anyone write a line to create an error? Why should anyone invite an error into the program? Yeah, that is a right thought. When I learned this first, also that thought came into my mind, like why anyone will go for an error? Everyone should try to remove the error. Why should anyone introduce the error in the program? So let's take one example like this one. We have solved this example in our chapter 2 in our if class. On the first topic today, we have checked why exceptional handling is better than if else statement in this kind of situations. So if I choose another if else program, if you can remember, we have done one program like to check if anyone is eligible for vote or not. Anyone is eligible for voting only if the age is greater than 18 and if he or she is living last 5 years here, and if he or she is citizen by birth of that country. If these 3 happens, then someone is eligible for voting. So now we can put something like this here. Suppose we can, okay, let me enter all those things quickly. Let me type all those codes very quickly. Sorry. System.out. Println, enter the age, and I can take it inside a variable sc.nexting. Similarly, I can take 2 more input. Second one is enter the number of years you are staying in India. It is not like you are 18 years old, but you never stayed in that country. Suppose B, and the C is enter 1 if you are citizen by birth, enter 1 if you are citizen, otherwise enter 0. So now it can be solved by using our traditional nested if else statement. But you can solve it in some other way as well. Suppose if you use a try catch statement and if you write something like this, if a is greater than equals to 18, and you can write something throw new. If a is less than 18, then you are trying to throw a exception. It not has to be add index out of bound exception, a normal exception you are throwing, and you are giving a message like underage. Okay. You can write another thing like if b is less than 5, you are trying to throw another exception, and you can write it like uh, years spent is less than 5. Any message you can provide. Last one, if by citizen, if you are not a citizen, you can show some message like throw new exception, any type of exception, and it is not citizen. Something with a message you can create a exception. If it is not falling into any of these negative conditions, means it is not less than 18, it is not less than 5 years, it is not like a non-citizen, then simply I can write system.out.println you can vote. And if it falls any of these situations, obviously it is going to uh, going to create an error, then obviously it will go into the catch block. And here I can write simply system.out.println you cannot vote, and I can give a reason like +e, and that's all. If I run, so this is another solution of this program. So you can solve it using a nested try catch block, but if you want, you can use this one as well. So enter the age. If I give suppose 10 years old, so it is printing like enter the number of years. Suppose I'm giving I am here for 8 years, and by birth I am Indian citizen. So it is showing like you cannot vote, reason underage, something like that it is showing. Okay, but if you give all the inputs correctly, like suppose my age is 20, number of years I am staying in India, it is 10 years, and I am a citizen by birth, so it is showing you can vote. So this is just another way of solving this program. We can solve it using our traditional nested if else statement, but it is another way of writing it. Got it? So this is the way. All right. So if I this is the way. Now you might be thinking why we should introduce this new approach, because sometimes the whole nested if else, creating the nested if else statement is very tough, and the situations are complicated as well in real time. So here we are not trying to create any nested if else statement. You can see all of the ifs are independent. It is not like any if else statements. So we have to undergo with some negative criteria checking. If our condition or if our data is not falling under any of the negative checking, then at the end, I can print one success statement. So this is another approach of this kind of requirements. Because sometimes it is really tough to create a if-else statement considering everything in mind, considering all the complicated situations in mind. It is sometimes difficult to write all those nested if else statements. So this is another approach as per the requirement, you can choose a nested if else approach, or you can choose this throw error approach as well. So if you want, you can create a error by yourself as well. You do not need to undergo with those situations. You do not need to create an array just to create one exception. You can simply throw a new exception like this. Okay, so that is the purpose of this throw statement. And the last one for the day, the last topic is throws. So what is the use of throws? If I take the same example, but I think this example is not needed. If I simply do one thing, let me delete all this thing, except suppose let me take this line. I can present it with some easy example. Suppose if I create another function, public static void myth, and here if I try to create an error, and I call this function from our main function. Simple, a simple thing. If I try to execute this program, and it is taking some time, it is saying an exception happened. So it is not letting, means it is not allowing this program to execute. You can see it is giving a compilation error. It is saying you cannot write an error. You cannot write an error like this. Either this error should be caught, must be caught, or declared to be thrown. Must be caught means, what does it mean? Must be caught. Must be caught means you cannot write any error messages directly inside the function. You have to go through some try catch statement. Must be caught means it has to be inside some try catch statement. If I write that, then it is going to allow. Okay, you can write any statement here, or you cannot. I'm not writing anything inside try catch statement. Let it be blank. So now it is going to allow. But what will happen means, what is the use if I write this error inside a try catch statement? Because if any error happen in this line, it will go inside the catch statement. I cannot see this error to be happening. You can see I am calling this function. What is happening here? This line is being executed. One error is happening, but I cannot see because the control is going inside the catch statement. And that is the thing we have learned today. If any error happen inside try statement, immediately the control goes to the catch statement. But if I do not write this try catch statement, it is not allowing me to run the program. It is giving the compilation error. At least it should run, then it should give the error. But no, it is giving me the error in compilation time itself. It is not running even. So anyhow, I want to run it. So the second option is, it is saying must be caught is the first option, or declared to be thrown. Declared to be thrown means it is saying either you have to, if you want to run this thing, if you want to run this code, either you have to put the error message inside try and catch block. It is the probable error situation. You have to surround it by try and catch block. If not, another option is take the responsibility of this error and declare like, okay, this math function throws some exception. Accept that, sign it, take the responsibility. So here, whenever I'm writing this statement beside the function, like throws exception, that means I am signing the bond, or I am taking the responsibility, like, right, this math function might return some error, or I am saying this math function throws an exception. Yes, it is true. It throws an exception. I am taking the responsibility. So throws exception means, this throws means I am declaring like this method throws a exception. I am taking the responsibility. And this throw is something that in reality it throw a exception. So this line is written to create a error message, and this line is written to take the responsibility, like, okay, allow this function to run. Do not stop it at the compilation time. And that is the exact difference between throws and throw. Throw is there when you want to throw some error. And throws, you have to write throws in beside some method where the method is prone, where the method is error prone, or the method is likely to create some error inside the method body. If there is some statements, or if there is some code, or if there is some script which might cause some error, then you have to take the responsibility and you have to sign it here. Like, okay, this math, I know this math throws exception. I know that. Please allow that. Please allow this function to be executed. If anything happens, let it be executed, let it be happened at the runtime. Do not stop it at the compilation time. So every time it will write this line, like must be caught. Either that error or that error prone line should be kept inside try catch block, or someone has to declare, like, okay, this method generally throws some error. So here I'm following this way, throws exception. Now, if I run, it will not be stopped at the compilation time. It will go into the runtime, and in runtime, it will throw an error. Okay. So here it is saying main function is also error prone because it is calling the math. So I will sign it here as well. Like, okay, it also throws an exception. Main function is also error prone now because main function is calling the math. Let me check. So now, yeah, it is no more compilation error. You can see at the black screen at the runtime, it is showing the error. Some error like Java lang exception underage. I do not know the meaning. I have just generated it. But yeah, now it is allowing it in the runtime. So in the runtime, we do not have anything to do. So here, if you want, you can write something system.out.println. Hi, hello, anything you can write, and then you can put the error. So first hi will be printed, then error will happen. So nothing meaningful here I'm writing. But my purpose is to show like this error is happening in the real time. No one is blocking it at the compilation time. In math function, even in the main function, I am giving a declaration like, okay, these two functions might cause some error. Please allow that. If any error happens, that I can predict, I have already predicted that. Nothing new. So please allow that. If anything goes wrong, let it happen. So something like that, I am giving a declaration. So that is throws. Okay, and you will get all those theoretical definitions here. If you check binary world, if you go to this site, you will get all the theoretical thing here. If you search with Java topics, probably. No, here it is, Java concepts, probably. Sorry, Java concept. Here it is. You can get all the theoretical differences between throws, and everything. Everything is mentioned here. You can get it. If you are not able to, here it is, throw and throws, the reference. So if any problem you are facing, any code is not running, or anything you are not able to understand, please let me know in the comment section. Either me or someone else might try to solve that right away. Or you can also use our Facebook group or the study materials. I have pasted the link of Binary World, so you can access those spaces as well. So that is the thing. Just try to practice all different 6 topics one by one. Try to type the code by yourself. Then you will be able to understand what I'm trying to say. In case of any doubt, confusion, query, concern, anything, let me know by the comment section or via the group. All right, that's all for the day. All the best and bye.